Never seen a lame man walk. Never heard a dumb man talk. Never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a canceled death. Never seen all the poor get fed. Never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name.
Hey, everybody! It is time. It is about that time for the Big C and Bigger T podcast. I'm your boy, Bigger T, from the place that I am in South Arkansas, Bearden, Arkansas. Soon to be back in Thornton, Arkansas, but we'll talk about that some other time. I'm here as always, weekly with my man, the one, the only CSC, Clint Clark. Big C, how you doing, buddy?
Man, fantastic. Can't complain at all. Man, you know, this is number 51.
51.
51. Hey, do you remember like when everyone was going to storm Area 51?
Oh yeah, that was.
I mean, everyone like they're like, hey, the government's hiding stuff from us.
They are, yeah.
And do you think they're hiding aliens in there? Do you think there's aliens? Do you believe? Yes or no, Travis Johnson? Do you believe in aliens?
Maybe.
Okay.
I believe there is a possibility that there is something else out there.
See, here's my thing. Here's my thing. Like, you know, and I used to joke a lot on Facebook that I was a flat earther.
Yeah.
Y'all, I believe the earth is round.
Good.
I
was worried about you for a while.
Yeah, but here's my thing. Like, okay, if the government is lying to us, what good does it do them to lie to us about the earth being flat?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. I don't get why they would lie about that.
No.
I really don't.
That's dumb.
But I could get keeping aliens from us from our own good.
Yeah.
I mean, people can't act right as it begins with. I mean, people don't treat others right. Imagine if, like, hey, brothers from Mars.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're here taking our jobs, coming from Mars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
One side's going to want to give the people from Mars health care, the other one's not.
That's right.
It's a whole rig. I mean,
it's all crazy. Yeah, neither one of them is going to trust each other's voting count, so it's definitely not gonna...
I mean, it's just
no. Yeah, it's people would just freak out if they found out aliens were true. But man, there's look. Okay, you can say, well, Travis, whatever, how can you say there's a possibility? There's no way, whatever. Look, man, they've declassified some documents recently, and if you haven't seen some of those or haven't seen some of those Joe Rogan episodes where he's interviewed some of those pilots that have seen some of those things that have been declassified, like those guys, like these aren't dummies. These aren't like Uncle so-and-so up in the hills in North Arkansas drinking his Busch Light and he's seeing something in the air every now and then, right? Like these are guys that are like trained military and they're seeing some things do maneuvers in the air that none of their equipment is capable of. And they're flying the best equipment that the military has.
So do you really think that there'd be an alien? And I'm just asking this because I don't know. I know this wasn't, I fear we'd make one joke about this and we'd move on. Yeah, now, if you think like there's an alien, like there's aliens that come here, do you think they're going to be just that much more technologically advanced than us? Are they going to have like super duper Wi-Fi?
If they make it here, then yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've been to the moon. We landed on the moon.
Yeah.
But we haven't been to another planet yet. So yeah, I guess you're right. Until we can say,
I think Pluto's hiding them. That's why they declassified it. Clint, when we were kids, it was a planet, dadgummit.
It's still a planet to me.
It is a planet to me.
It's right here.
I'm willing to fight for that. Heck, let's charge Pluto.
Right now.
Let's go to Pluto, because that's where they're hiding them. That's where they are. They declassified. They knew they were going to declassify these documents. That's why they took it out. I'm getting fired up now.
Yeah.
Aliens are on Pluto. Let's get a shirt made. Aliens are on Pluto.
Aliens, and now they're like, Pluto, you know what? If it doesn't exist, you can't be an alien. So
all right, Big C, Bigger T podcast t-shirt. Ready? On the back, logo. On the front, Pluto equals aliens. Done.
Step 1.
Done. How many of you
come up with a catchphrase? Step 2, make the t-shirts. Step 3, count the money.
That's right.
we're gonna retire from this.
That's right. Hey, go ahead. Hey, y'all just go ahead and go right now. Start commenting on social media. Start commenting if you're watching this on YouTube. Tell us if you would buy a shirt if we got those shirts made. Pluto equals aliens. If you would do that,
podcast on the back.
Yeah, with the podcast logo on the back. If you would buy that, we'll make it happen, dadgummit.
Yeah.
If
we get 10 people, the messages saying they'd buy the shirt, we'll make it.
10 people. That's all we need.
10
people.
Not just you, Gabe.
And it's a done deal.
We'll do
it. All right. Sorry. We didn't plan on talking about aliens that long, Clint. We're a sports show most of the time, some of the time.
Most of the time.
Every now and then.
Every now and then we talk other stuff.
Now this ain't a funny thing, but man, Clint, people are calling this the second Cold War. I don't think they understand what Cold War means.
Right.
Cold War means no one did anything. Okay. That's why it was the Cold War. There wasn't no heat behind it. But there's some scary stuff happening in the Ukraine right now. And it's we just wanted to mention it here. A lot of times when things are going on like this, we tell you some ways that you can help if you want to. Clint, I don't really know. Some of you may know some ways that you could send some relief if they're needing it. I don't know if they're putting that out yet. They don't know what the damage is in the Ukraine, all these battles. That's probably going to come later. But anytime there's war happening in our world, man, it's difficult. No matter what side you agree with, no matter what side you're on, war's bad.
Yeah.
And it's gonna affect us. It's gonna affect gas prices. It's gonna affect, people think the Ukraine is not. What's the Ukraine? Well, the Ukraine is one of the top producers in uranium and titanium, and they got a lot of oil. Okay. And so it means those natural resources, that's a lot of money flowing through there. The uranium is needed for nuclear missiles. Okay. And so that's why Russia wants them. And so it's scary stuff, but you know what? It's okay, Clint. Or do you got thoughts on Ukraine?
No, like you were saying, they're pretty much not a lot we can do right now. It was pretty cool seeing the Klitschko brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're like, hey, we're fighting.
Yeah.
That was, you hate that they're having to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool seeing, like, probably your more famous countrymen being like, we're with you. We're going to fight it. It's scary. It's scary stuff. We grew up in the age where, kids now, they don't see Russia as our biggest enemy. And we grew up at a time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where,
they were the bad guys in all the movies.
Right. Yeah. Red Dawn,
yep.
Rocky 4.
That's right.
I need to go any further. I'm making a joke, but for real, we grew up, Russia was the enemy. Yeah. And now, it's just scary stuff. Positive vibes definitely going their way.
Yeah, well, definitely we can always pray, and that can and just remember, you know, it's always good to think about what other people are going to, and that it motivates you to be better in how you treat people and how you live your life here. Because we're not, in a city where bombs are getting thrown at us and we're worried about our life, and we have freedoms, and those freedoms, too much is given, much is required. And so let's treat people well. Let's treat people fairly. Let's be kind. That doesn't cost us anything, and show people love. All right. Clint, the baseball team has started. Did you know that? Did you know college baseball started?
I did. You know what I didn't realize is came and gone?
What's that?
Winter Olympics.
What?
The winter. Every 4 years they do the Olympics.
Oh.
Apparently the Winter Olympics happened.
This is the year for Winter Olympics?
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Well,
I didn't.
That's crazy.
I think every week we have to make a joke like we didn't know the Winter Olympics was going on.
Once again, I totally forgot that happened.
I forgot that we made this same joke last 2-3 weeks.
We hadn't even done our curling coverage yet.
I know.
In pro baseball ain't going to happen, it don't look like, for a while. But college baseball has happened. And, Clint, so far we're 2 weekends in, and
mixed bags, going 2 for 3.
2 for 3 in 2 weekends.
2 weekends, which, I mean, that's winning series if you want to look at it like that. But of course, we started off with Illinois State, lost the Friday to them, won the second 2, and this week we beat Indiana on Friday. They played a doubleheader yesterday, and they played Stanford and lost, got shut out. Yeah. They're not hitting incredibly well. The bats will eventually wake up and they'll find their rhythm. Yeah. But what's been really the beautiful thing about Arkansas sports is if you go, there's an Arkansas kid on the team that everybody likes, and they get a story behind them. The fans always gravitate to them. And we talked about this with Baseball Bowl a little bit last year. Every time you go to a thing about what up with Connor Nolan, what up with Connor Nolan. Right now, Connor Nolan's our Friday starter.
Yeah.
And he is playing really, really well.
Yeah. They're going to have to finish out, figure out the rest of the rotation, but they got some young arms. They're just going to have to, I believe Smith is the day 2 starter right now, and or the second game starter, and he's been a mixed bag. So they're going to have to kind of figure him out. But he's a freshman, right? So they'll get him going. I haven't looked at the stats though. How's our Worcester boy doing? Strawbridge Slugger.
Man, I'll be honest with you. I checked, and I can't remember. I mean, I'm getting old, Travis.
I know.
Yeah, I got that any-timers. I can't remember.
That's right. He has started third though. We're talking about Caden Wallace. The town I grew up in, right outside of Greenbrier, is Worcester. I was until him, the greatest athlete to ever come out of Worcester.
I still call you the king of the streets of Worcester.
That's right, king of the streets of Worcester. Someday I'll be the mayor of Worcester. That's my goal in life. One day.
It's probably not that hard to achieve.
No, it's kind of like a hostile takeover. I
think one of my old bus drivers is the mayor of Greenbrier.
Really? Who's that?
Sammy Joe, I think. Sammy Joe Hartwig.
Is he really?
I think so. Don't quote me on that.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't care enough to get involved in local politics.
Sammy Joe had a great mullet, didn't he?
He did. He had a gorgeous mullet.
Back in the day, yeah. Okay. Now, so these games, Clint, have been on a streaming service. Is that right?
Flow Sports, which I'm familiar with Flow Grappling because a lot of the jiu-jitsu competitions, they'll stream them live on Flow Grappling. So I guess they're trying Flow Sports. I hear there was all kinds of issues.
Yeah. I listened to it a little bit on the radio, but
because I tried to get on because I have ESPN Plus. And what I love about ESPN Plus, and this is your free plug, ESPN Plus, send monies is I can usually watch anything I want. And so I was trying to look for the game and I couldn't find it. And I was spicy about it. I'm like, I ain't paying to watch nothing.
Yeah.
Of course, there was one time when I decided I was going to upgrade my satellite package to watch the Arkansas-Colorado State game. It was on CBS Sports.
Yeah.
And that was the first of many Chad Morris debacles.
Yeah.
Changed quarterbacks at halftime. There's nothing wrong with the guy that played the first half and didn't go for 4th and short. And then it was just like, woo.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're going 2-10 back-to-back years.
Yep. Oh, Chad boy. Well, now, Clint, usually by this time we've already talked about it. We've already introduced this segment, but we decided to put it a little later today. Our Holy Shnikes moment came from the Razorback basketball game against Kentucky. There was a picture went out of a Kentucky player shooting free throws, and people started noticing there's something weird with this picture. Up high above the basket, there was an Arkansas fan that was shining the moon, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
While the guy was shooting, showing his backside,
showing the booty.
That's right.
What
do you think about mooning the shooter, Clint? What's your take on that?
Uncalled for, classless. Whoever was working security in that section, if they didn't do something, they should be fired.
Yeah.
The player probably didn't even see it. It's probably just background stuff to him. He probably didn't. If he looked up like, oh wow. I mean, there's ways to distract players, wave your arms. There's clever stuff that people have done. The most clever thing I've ever seen done was, I think it was Duke, North Carolina, where they had the curtain and they dropped the curtain. It'd be like any kind of funny, silly thing. They had the guy in the Speedo.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that was brilliant. That was just it made us look like a bunch of drunk hillbillies that just don't care.
Yeah. If you were there with your family, how would you like to explain to your daughter why she's seeing a guy's bare butt?
Yeah.
That's just not, it's a family atmosphere. It's supposed to be. So, that guy probably, I don't know if anything will happen to him, but, they were trying to figure out who he was for sure.
I'm sure he'd been overserved before the game.
Yeah.
And he stuck something in and got overserved during the game.
He more than likely had a little extra courage to make that happen. Yeah. Now in the game, Clint, it was a good game. Our boy JD Note. Clint, how good is JD Note?
Man, he's great. I mean, he's a great player. But JD went for 30, had 8 assists. He'll still take shots that he shouldn't take.
Yeah.
I know, like, they must pull him out of the game. It was like, hey, because he took a step back 3 that he probably shouldn't have taken.
Yeah.
But he was feeling it. Played a great game. He's getting a lot of serious SEC Player of the Year chatter.
Yeah.
He really is. What do you think about his candidacy for Player of the Year? Because me personally, I wouldn't put him as MVP on this team.
Yeah, I think JD is a stat stacker. Okay. And stat stackers aren't, just because they put up lots of stats, are not necessarily your best players. Russell Westbrook, for one. Okay. Guys set records with triple doubles, and then NBA, his teams can't win. Okay. Now, JD's doing it on a winning team. And I'm like, there's, I really feel like JD's playing defense. JD is playing off the ball well. Sometimes he takes them out of rhythm on offense because he just pops up shots. If he's not hitting, he can hurt us in games. Thankfully, he was hitting those shots at Kentucky. I'm not for sure if he's player of the year, SEC player of the year. He may have the stats to compete with that. But if I'm watching, if I'm watching him and I'm watching the center for Kentucky, I'm sure he's up for SEC player of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And he, to me, even though he may not put up the amount of points, but everything else he does for his team on both ends of the floor, I would still probably vote for him. Even though I'm a Hog fan, I'm a homer, I would still vote for him to be player of the year. I would vote for Jalen Williams to be player of the year before.
No, I would. I think Jabari Smith, he's on that list. Like you said, Big O, the center.
Yeah.
I want to try to say his name, Ojibwe.
Sure, yeah, whatever.
But Big O, the center for Kentucky, he's very, very good. Transfer from West Virginia.
Yeah.
And
and listen, I don't want to take away from Note because you hear Muss talk about him. Note, Muss just brags on him like crazy. Muss talks about did you hear Muss talk about his recruiting visit?
I did not.
That is one of his favorite recruiting visits ever. He said, because all they did was go out and eat pizza and talk basketball. He said a lot of times on recruiting trips, he said the guys go get steaks and they order a couple steaks because they take a couple home with them because, the school's paying for them and everything. And said Note, he didn't care about that. He just wanted to talk ball. He wanted to talk. He said he's very intentional in all the things he does, as far as studying for games and learning and all that kind of stuff. And so you hear all that kind of stuff about him and it makes you forget some of the things that he does that frustrates you on the court sometimes. You know what I mean? And so Note's wonderful, man. And we wouldn't be where we're at without him right now. We would not be where we're at without him. We need him. He's a scorer. We need him. But I still think Jalen Williams, man. And Jalen Williams played that game, Clint. He was puking at halftime.
Yeah.
He was sick. He didn't, he was taken out I was like, there was a couple times he was out during the game. I'm like, that's not normal for him to be out right now. And then you get to the end of the game and you find out dude was puking at halftime. He was sick the whole time. And he still had a double-double.
Yeah. And Kamani Johnson came in and played well.
He did.
He did. He played well.
Especially the way he was outsized.
Yeah.
He did.
He held his own, and that's what you needed, someone to let Jalen sit down, catch his breath. And then he did his thing. He stepped up in this game, outsized, out-muscled, but he fought. That's all you asked for. Man, why do you think the bigger lineups work so well? Because we got LSU coming in on Wednesday, and that was kind of when he switched his lineup. Started Devo coming off the bench, went with the bigger lineup.
Well, I think mainly, Clint, because those guys are so versatile.
Yeah.
Even though they're big, they're versatile bigs. They're guys, if they have, Wade can guard a guard. Umute can guard a small guy. He can guard the best three-point shooter out there and shut him down. Stanley can guard out on the perimeter, but they're also 6'6", 6'7" with long arms. So they they rebound well and they're willing rebounders. So to me, it's just it's not necessarily they're bigger, it's they're more versatile. They're the most versatile guys we have. They're guys that, because, and that's one thing about Muss's defense. You're not just stuck on one guy. You switch on screens. He switches screens. So, you may be guarding a point guard and all of a sudden the center is guarding the point guard, because there's been a screen, and so they've switched. And so that's why Jalen Williams will be out there on the perimeter on somebody. And so I think just the versatility and the willingness to do, those are the guys that are willing to do the little things to make this team go.
Well, if you look at the guys he's got coming in next year, this number 2 recruiting class that he has coming in, they're of that mold. Pinion, Dunning, and I think Walsh are all like 6'6", 6'7", small forwards, but they can play anywhere. Yep. Ford and Nick Smith, they're both 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
So I mean, he likes those positionless basketball players. I mean, you're kind of seeing, and I think that's what he recruited them for. And now he's got them doing it. But what's crazy is, and I don't know if we talked about this last week, this team has probably got the least amount of NBA talent that he's going to have. Yeah,
we talked about that last week, I think.
Well, I can't remember. I can't remember with me or Marco Polo, but yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about seeing what they me and you're talking about this on Marco Polo about, we're talking about how great JD Note is.
Yeah.
And how great JD is. I don't know if JD would start next year.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's going to take minutes from, a 5-star.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal to me. Remember Jalen Barford?
Yeah.
Okay. He was amazing, right? Remember, I mean, he was really good. I thought he had better pro potential than I see in Note. And he didn't make it in the pros.
No, and I think Note's has better college game.
Well, maybe so. Barford was good though, man.
Well,
he had Mason Jones out there with him.
He's the number 1 JUCO player in the country coming out of JUCO. Yeah.
But no, yeah, you're right. I'll tell you the other thing about that I'm excited about for that team next year, Clint, is not only are they versatile like some of these, like Umude and Stanley are, but hopefully it seems like they're better scorers, right? They're more known as scorers.
Right. Yeah, we don't
One thing that frustrates me about these guys, like we're doing great. We're on a winning streak, man. There's not a lot to complain about. But can you imagine what the score would be if we could hit layups?
Well, it's kind of like we looked at, for example, I remember you looked Muss's first year,
Yeah.
Mason Jones broke out.
Yeah.
And I just sit there and go, if this team had Daniel Gafford.
Yeah.
This team had Daniel Gafford.
Yeah.
Would be a legit Final Four team.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. I mean, that was you add a big like Daniel Gafford on that team.
Yeah.
But there's not any teams that wouldn't take Daniel Gafford.
Yeah.
Put Daniel Gafford on your team, you're immediately a better team.
Yeah. But Clint, that's what amazes me about this team, though, is we're doing this. They're doing this, and they're looking like one of the, how we're not ranked in the top 10. I still don't get. But
number 14 today.
That's amazing to me. Even Barrett Sally or whatever came out today and said how Arkansas is not a top 10 team is absurd. But anyway, we're doing this. Not shooting amazing, right? I mean, shooting pretty good, decent percentage, but not amazing. We can't hit layups in some games. I mean, that Florida game, how many layups did we? How many shots right at the basket did we miss? And we're still winning games. We're still beating some of the best teams in the nation. Okay. It's amazing to me. I love it. And they're doing it by doing all the little things very well. That's the key to success for this team. Is you hear Muss talk about it in every press conference. Spacing, sharing the ball, and playing hard effort on defense. And they're doing that. They're effort in rebounding, they're efforting defense, they're efforting, going after steals, going after charges. They're showing great effort, and they're on offense, they're spacing, and they're moving the ball around. And just by doing the basics and having some pretty good players.
Now,
some amazing stuff.
Another thing that I think has made a huge difference in this team is Bud freaking Walton Arena.
Yes.
I mean, guys, and there's been some, and we'll talk about this more later. We had the mooning incident that we talked about, but man, Bud Walton has been loud. It has been, it is shaking opposing players, and that's just Arkansas fans. When you give Arkansas fans a reason to show up and show out, they do it, and it's been a sight to behold.
Yeah.
Stripe out, the red out, the white out. I mean, it's all just been.
Yeah. Well, what Clint? Stripe out, red out, white out, all that stuff. What did you think about the walkout?
I didn't have a problem with it. I know we were talking a little bit more on Marco Polo, and Robert seemed to have a little bit more problem with it. And this is me just picking on Robert because there's a lot of people that had a problem with it. I think it was Arkansas had a pretty the crowd was fired up. I was trying to think for the word I wanted to use. But yeah, the crowd was fired up. It was loud. I know I noticed the same thing you did with like the three guys on the corner with the ball, just yelling at the players. We had just stormed the court against Auburn.
Yeah.
So I had no problem with it. Get y'all go ahead and go to the locker room. Let's get out here as soon as we can.
Yeah.
I had zero problem with that. And I think you're going to disagree with me here. I didn't have a problem with like Calipari just giving Musman the thumbs up and like, you good? Okay. Going away because you had this intense environment. You had just had Juwan Howard throw a punch. It's best, just like, hey, we'll get out of here. It was a hard fought game. You hope they at least change the text or a phone call later on. What are your thoughts on it, bud?
I'm with you on the team walking out early. I think I'm fine with that because if there's any negative to how raucous
no, that's the word I was looking for. I appreciate it, Travis. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah. If there's any negative, it's the fact that, there's some really, really mean things being said to those players. Okay. And I think you can get on them and you can, you can do some things and make some jokes and, to try to, get them out of their head and stuff like that. But yelling the F word over and over, like those guys were doing on the sideline, if I was reading lips correctly, and I may not have been reading lips correctly, but
I hope you weren't, but I bet you're right.
I think I was reading the lips pretty correctly there. And then knowing that we had rushed the court, like you talked about against Auburn, Calipari didn't know that they were going to, or he probably didn't know if they were going to allow him to rush the court or not, because he also knew that our AD had allowed that court rushing and encouraged it, and was okay with it. And so he didn't know any of that. So yeah, let's protect our team. Let's go ahead and get the rest of the bench off there and, get them back to the locker room. Now, I did not like the fact he didn't shake hands because by that time he saw that security was posted up, that they were not rushing the court. He did not have to get out in a hurry. He could have shook hands with Muss and went on about his business. But to be honest with you, I don't expect the high road ever to be taken by Calipari, just to be honest.
There's a lot of Calipari hate. Did you see
the guy leaves a trail of hurt and bad stuff everywhere he goes. It's going to happen at Kentucky. He's just so big at Kentucky right now that he's untouchable. But I promise you, he is cheating. He is doing things he shouldn't do. He always has, okay? He always has. And you can say, well, everybody cheats. Well, not everybody's gotten caught. He's gotten caught, okay? He was at UMass. He left to go to the pros. He got caught, okay? He leaves the pros, and then UMass has to pay for it because he's gone to the pros making big money. He goes to Memphis. Okay. Does pretty well there. Kentucky gets calling. He goes to Kentucky right after he leaves. Memphis is hit with sanctions from the NCAA. Calipari doesn't get anything because he's happy up in Kentucky. Now he's at the Kentucky. He's at the, one of the few schools. It's like Alabama. It's like Ohio State. It's the schools that are almost untouchable unless you do something really bad.
Right.
And he's going to get away with a lot there. So I don't like the guy. I'm just going to be straight up with you. You listen to his post-game press conference. Please go listen to his post-game press conference after the Arkansas game. It's on YouTube, free to listen to. The guy, you will understand why I wouldn't like him. He gives no credit.
Zero credit for the win.
Zero credit to the other team. None. Zero credit to the coaches. It's all because, it's all because they made mistakes that they lost. It wasn't because Arkansas played well. I get frustrated with Muss in his post-game press conference because he acts like a little kid that just got caught, it's been put in the corner. He's always a little fidgety and he kind of short and with his answers and stuff.
Yeah, he's like, I just got out of timeout, but I wasn't happy that I'm in timeout.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But at least when he does it, he will talk about, Hofstra played well. They just beat us. They hit shots. They beat us. They did better than us. Yeah. He'll say those things, even though he may have a bad attitude at the time. He's at least giving credit where credit's due. And Calipari doesn't even have class enough to do that. So, yeah. Is that enough bad things to say about Calipari?
No, you honestly, we could fill up the rest of this podcast. Would you just say things about Calipari? Did you see him get hog calling him
at Herman's?
Yeah,
he went out to eat at Herman's, which
apparently he stops there every time he comes to Fayetteville. Like he knows the guy that owns it.
Yeah,
and so they were hog calling. That's some good fun. Do that. Yeah. Don't moon people.
Yeah.
Don't shout vulgarities at children, guys. I'm gonna tell you something. These are children.
Yeah.
They're kids.
Yeah.
So stop it.
Yeah.
Hey, stop it.
Stop it. Just stop. Stop it.
We are better than this.
We are.
Arkansans, we are better than this. We can make a difference.
We're the home of diamonds.
Yeah.
Diamonds.
Like
we have diamonds in Murfreesboro just coming out of the dirt.
You know what diamonds are for?
We're better than this. It's coming out of the dirt in Murfreesboro. Diamonds. Multiple carats of diamonds. What does that mean?
Yeah, there you go.
We're better than
By the way, no. Had you ever heard of Duke Deuce?
Oh, Duke Deuce. Is he the one that I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I didn't know. My stepson knew who he was. I had no earthly idea. Yeah. But I did listen to Crunk Ain't Dead on Alexa.
And you mentioned it earlier, so I listened and I had to shut it off pretty quickly because it said a lot of words that I don't like to say or hear.
My favorite part about the song is it's 1 minute 53 seconds.
Yeah, that's right.
but the kids, they love it.
Apparently they love him. Yeah,
they love him. They love
him at the game, right?
Yeah. So he was the special guest at the game, and he was having a blast. He was celebrating the locker room. But why me, a 45-year-old man, like this is stupid? Why does he do this? The kids and the recruits love it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine they had a recruit like it's Duke Deuce?
Yeah.
Frank ain't dead. He danced with them in the locker room.
Well, but Clint, here's the deal. I consider myself a connoisseur of good rap.
You do.
I've been a rap fan for a long time. And since back in the day, okay. And listening to his song, I got to tell you, I don't get it. I wasn't impressed. I'm sure Duke Deuce is a nice fella. I'm glad he's a Razorback fan now, or at least he was for one night. But there's a lot of better ones out there. There's a lot of really good ones that I just I don't know. I think they could find someone better to listen to than Duke Deuce.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't we give them something to listen to?
We're going to give you kids we're going to do our top 5 favorite rappers.
Top 5
of all time.
All time.
I'm looking at my list, and I bet everybody can tell when I grew up.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, this guy's definitely Gen X.
Now, and these are our favorites. Okay,
favorites.
These aren't necessarily, these aren't necessarily the best of all time, but these are the ones that, and these are, and I'll be honest with you, I'm saying that I think these are the best as far as I see.
Right. I wouldn't. This group wouldn't be necessarily my Mount Rushmore, the most important figures of rap. These are just my favorite rappers. So I tell you what, why don't I start it off? I'll go first and you go second.
Okay.
So at number 5, I have Tupac. I mean, I know that seems low on the list for Tupac, but when you look at who there is, I'm like I wouldn't put him up.
You could say anybody that and say too low. Yeah. So Tupac was amazing, you know.
I mean, it definitely goes too soon.
Changes, Hey Mama, Nothing But a Gangsta Party. That got stuck in my head the other day because we were at school. We were talking about a pizza party. I started going, nothing but a pizza party. And one of the kids were like, "You listen to that song?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was around when that came out, homeboy."
So, I grew up on rap.
That's right. I'm from the streets of Worcester.
You don't know what it's like.
Anyway.
A lot of gravel.
All right, my number 5. This is so tough to rank these, dude.
Yeah, I'm flipping a couple of mine right now. I'm just telling you.
Anyway, I got to go with my 5 I got here, and there's so many. Like I got some honorable mentions to throw in there later, but my number 5 is Eminem.
You know, he didn't make my list. I'm going to go and spoil that, but I mean, it was hard keeping him off.
What he does with words. I'm not a big fan of all of his songs. I will tell you that I have the radio version of Lose Yourself on my phone, and it is a very motivational song. And it's one of my favorite rap songs to just listen to. I love it. Okay. What he does with lyrics, though, and the way he can make not only just rhyming things, but the intensity that he has. I'm not big on his goofy songs, you know, but like Cleaning Out My Closet and Fearless. Some of those, when he gets intense and the guy shares, like, he just goes straight to his heart, man. And I'm just super, it's impressive to hear the rhymes that he puts together. I wish we could have done a top 10 because I'm thinking of other people too as I'm describing him. But anyway, my number 5 is Eminem. Marshall Mathers.
Man, this one I thought about moving up to number 2, but I can't justifiably put him in front of 1, 2, or 3. And I hate it. And I think my number 4 is Biggie Smalls, the Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, is how much bigger could him and Tupac have been had they not died so soon.
Well, how old was Biggie when he died? Like he was young
They
still,
were babies. I mean, they were just babies.
Yeah, Tupac had been around a little longer, but
yeah, I mean, they were just they were kids. But man, you know, my nickname in jiu-jitsu is Big Papa. You know, they just you know, I thought about coming out to Big Papa when I did my.
Love it when you call me Big Papa.
Yeah, I thought about coming out to that my first super fight, but I was like, no, I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
And then McGregor comes out to hypnotize. I mean, it just
Biggie, can't you see?
Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.
Hey, I'll tell you another one. Going back to Tupac, have you seen? Well, I know you've seen it. Creed.
Yeah.
You know, he comes out to Hail Mary. That's a great ring entrance song. Anyway, sorry.
So what you got?
So my number 4 is one you probably never heard of, Clint. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, no,
I'm going into the Christian genre, and most people think that Christian artists are people that just can't make it in the real world, so they do Christian music. But there's a rapper named KB. KB did an album called Weight and Glory several years ago. And that album, Clint, is, I think, one of the best rap albums ever produced. And I've got a lot of good rap albums that I've listened to over the years. And I would put it up against like every song is good. There's not any of them you would skip. Okay, you listen to every single one of them. And the cool thing about it is, of course, him being a Christian artist, is his music has a lot of meaning to it, but it's not done in a cheesy, I mean, I grew up, the only Christian rap I had was DC Talk to listen to, and everybody made fun of me because they thought they sounded like New Kids on the Block. Okay, but that was the only rap out there. Yeah. And they did sound like New Kids on the Block. Okay, so now Toby Mac, he's touring, worldwide, and all, I mean, he's a big thing now. But that was all we had. And now there's some Christian rappers that are guys that could make it in the secular world, but these guys have Bible degrees. They're intelligent, and to be honest with you, a lot of rappers get lazy, and it's easy to rhyme cuss words.
Yeah,
it's real easy. It's a lot harder to rhyme whenever you don't have those to fall back on. Yeah. And KB, man, he if you're out there and you got kids that like rap music, but you don't like them listening to vulgarities, get them on KB. I'm telling you, they will love him. His songs, the beats are very good. Whoever does his beats do a great job. He's kept up with the times, so his beats don't sound old and lazy. I mean, they sound like a lot of Christian rappers do. I mean, they're good, and his songs sound different. None of his songs sound exactly alike, where a lot of rappers, a lot of them sound the same. His sound different. Anyway, so KB
giving you money?
No, but I'm
giving you a hard time, but you were selling him pretty hard.
I'm telling you, he's worth listening to. I'm telling you, if you've never listened to him, check it out. He's got a newer album called Primetime, and he's got some songs on it. Man, it's just good. So,
now, my number 3 is I don't think you're going to find him in the religious section.
No, probably not.
Is the Snoop Deal Double G.
Snoop, no.
Snoop, and you got, and him and Tupac, they're kind of, they're married together. They came on the scene about the same time.
Well, Snoop was a little earlier.
A little bit earlier. But man, in the longevity of Snoop's career, I mean, he's an icon now.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I can't complain much about that one.
No. He's a solid number, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, well, I can't put Biggie, like, just because of the longevity of his career. I mean, they had him as like on The Voice as like the coach. He came in. I mean, he's a global music superstar. I mean, he is what it is.
Yeah,
the king of Long Beach. I've also been to Long Beach and won the Long Beach Open. But hey, who's you know what I'm saying?
Well, my number 3. Well, I'm the king of rock. They call me sire. I won't quit rapping till I retire. Come on now, you know who that is? It's Run DMC, baby.
I was going to say Run DMC, but I was scared to get it wrong.
Because Clint, don't you know that it's tricky? It's tricky to rock around that's right on time. It's tricky. Tricky. Sorry, man. My Adidas. Come on now.
No, it's a man. I love Run DMC.
Run DMC, those guys, you know, everything they did was so good. They came hard. They were intense. Once again, a lot of their songs, you know, even a person like me that I try not to listen. I don't listen to stuff with vulgarities in it anymore. I can still listen to a lot of Run DMC because a lot of their stuff didn't have it. Okay, yeah. So but it's still hard in your face, intense stuff, and man, and then just the path they paved, them working with Aerosmith on Walk This Way. I mean, what that did for music genre. I mean, you know, if we didn't have that, you know, we wouldn't have POD and Limp Bizkit and all those that we enjoyed, you know, as we were growing up, and the kind of rock rap mix. So Run DMC, man.
You know, and I'm thinking my number 2 is I put Dr. Dre down, is who I had. Yeah. And I'm gonna keep it at Dr. Dre. But if you think about groups that have had individual successes, the only 2 that I can think of that would be on par with NWA would be like the Eagles with Don Henley, Glenn Fry, some of those guys, and the Beatles.
Yeah.
I'm talking about to go out, do your own thing, but still be just great as a group.
Yeah.
And I don't think NWA's contributions, you know, I mean, it's just crazy. But Dr. Dre just, once he left NWA, he just skyrocketed. Started his own label. I mean, as a producer, anything. I mean, you couldn't do a Mount Rushmore rap, not less a top 5. Now, you may do it, but at least I couldn't and leave Dr. Dre off.
Well, I'll tell you, I did leave Dr. Dre off because I do think of him a little more as a producer.
No, I can respect that.
He's a good rapper, but I'm thinking of the lyricist and just the way they, you know, what they did, and I don't think of him as a lyricist. I think of him as a genius.
Oh yeah.
Now the thing is, he wrote a lot of stuff to make these other guys on this list.
Yeah.
You know? And he produced beats that these other guys could put lyrics to that make them on this list. Okay. So if you're talking the most impactful guy in rap, he's there.
That's what I'm saying. And to me, there's a difference between a Mount Rushmore and a top 5 list.
Yeah.
I mean, not Snoop, Dr. Dre's picture is undeniably up there on the Mount Rushmore of rap.
Yeah. And when I put my list together, I was thinking a lot of the content of the fact that guys did it themselves. And I'll explain some of that later. My number 2, Playa. It's the Snoop Deal Double G.
Oh, our first one that's on both our lists.
Yeah, dude. Snoop, like all the things you said, the longevity, the fact that after the Super Bowl, my students at my school are doing the Crip Walk, the little dance like he did. You know, they're all trying to do that at school this last couple of weeks. You know, I mean, how old is he? Like 50 something?
700 years old.
Yeah. I mean, he's, you know, I mean, come on, man. And then he's called himself Snoop Lion for a little while. He did a reggae album.
Yeah.
Did you know he did a gospel album?
I did not. I knew about the
He
reggae.
did some kind of gospel album. Of course, I don't know about a gospel album from a guy that's puffing on weed as he's singing.
He goes, I gotta go. Hold on. Put this up. I gotta go do the Super Bowl.
But but Bob Marley was a spiritual guy too, and he wrote a lot of spiritual stuff. So hey, to each his own, I guess. But anyway, but yeah, Snoop, once again, you said a lot about him earlier, but he's just so good. And then his voice, the way he puts lyrics together, he almost sings his lyrics sometimes. Man, he's so good. So Snoop's number 2 on mine.
I'm really shocked that your number 1 was not Run DMC. I honestly am.
Yeah.
I would have put money on that. So my number 1, you know what you got to do, Travis? You got to fight. You got to fight.
You do.
For your right.
My manager's crazy. He always smokes dust. He's got his own room at the back of the bus.
Dude, the Beastie Boys is probably one of the only acts that if they, and of course, I'm brain farting on the one that's dead now. I could have told you.
Mike D in it.
Yeah. I can't.
Anyway, one of them, but yeah.
One of the Beastie Boys has
passed away, wasn't it?
Yeah. But man, I would have paid money to go see them in concert.
Here's a little story I got to tell about 3 bad brothers you know so well. Started way back in history with that boy MC and Mike D.
And you can't listen to Sabotage and not get fired up.
Yeah.
I loved it in one of the Star Trek movies. Like, let's hit them with classical music, and then they throw on Sabotage. Like, I mean, come on, what? And the video to Sabotage is like a masterpiece.
Yeah. Well, Clint, here's my number 1, and some people that didn't make the list before I say it. Tupac did not make it for me, although I have mad respect. Ice Cube was one I thought about, but one line and Today Was a Good Day made me not pick him because he said, Mama cooked the breakfast with no hog, no bacon, and you're saying it was a good day? No, sir.
No.
But it is a good day if I didn't have to use my AK, or if the sign on the read the lights on the Goodyear blimp said Ice Cube's a pimp. That's a good day too.
Yeah.
LL Cool J.
I didn't even think about LL Cool J.
Listen, I used to didn't like him. I've started liking him. Part of it's because his conversion to Christianity, but also I've gone back and listened to some of his other stuff, and the dude's just talented, and that's Kanye.
Yeah.
Another guy that I think I can't listen to his music because it's so daggone vulgar, but I do believe has talent and has a way of just writing some great lines, and that's Lil Wayne. I'm not a huge fan of his, and I don't even like some of his music. I don't even like, but there's a couple songs that I've listened to that he does he comes out with some awesome lyrics.
You know who I really liked till he wrote a song that was ruining my life?
What's that?
Macklemore.
Oh, really?
No, you got to think about. Okay, now
I never got into him much.
I'm going to go into this diatribe here, and I'm sorry, you're just going to listen to it because it's half my podcast too. So, as you know, I went through a divorce.
Yeah,
you didn't know that. And one of the things that happened was that my wife met another man who drove a scooter, drove his little moped around.
Yeah.
And then right as that happened, he did that song Downtown, which was about a guy on a scooter. It's like should be like, oh, it's the awesomest song ever. It's like,
yeah,
Downtown. I should have been like, we don't got no beef, boy. But no, I couldn't listen to the song because I was depressed. Thanks, Macklemore. Yeah. I hate you.
That's right. Well, and here's another one. Nas.
Oh, he's another good
one. Mic may be one of the best rap songs ever. It's just Nas was anyway. Too Short was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I remember you loving Too Short.
Yeah, too short. Life is too short. Would you agree? I've never been a huge fan of him, but I respect his talent. Is Jay-Z. I love I've liked some of his songs, and everything, and he's talented and everything. I love when him and Linkin Park did that album together. I thought that was fire. That was really good. So my number one, Clint, was on your list also.
Oh, wow.
And it is Biggie, 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 can't you see?
Yeah, I mean,
words just hypnotize me. I just love your flashy ways. Man, he did stuff with lyrics. And if you deep dive on some of his like videos of him doing rap battles and stuff, that dude was talented.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, just talent out the wall.
The only thing that kept him off my number one was just the longevity of the career.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you're right there. But I just have a lot of respect for his ability, I guess. And that was the thing.
He was fantastic. He was very entertaining.
Yeah. He
maybe the best entertainer on the
list. But that's man, those are good lists, man.
Yeah.
That's a good list.
When we brought up this, we brought it up a couple weeks ago, talked about doing this. It's like, man.
Yeah.
I mean, because what would happen when we were kids, and this is a true story. Travis got my home phone number. He looked it up in the phone book.
Yeah.
That's a thing where you used to look at phone numbers.
Yeah.
Called me on a landline. I would go to my phone that was attached to the wall in the kitchen, and Travis would like literally play me songs, go, hey, listen to this song.
Yeah.
And hold his phone to the thing. And that's how I got introduced to rap.
Yeah.
True story.
True story.
I mean, that's going back to probably 6th, 7th grade that we do.
And probably when I was doing that is because I just joined Columbia House and I'd got my 12 free CDs for a penny or 12 CDs for a penny. And most of them were rap.
Yeah. Oh, that used to be the deal. You'd send them a penny, they give you 12 CDs.
Yeah, and then you're supposed to buy.
Did Veliks get you to sign up for that? Is that who got you?
I signed up a couple different times.
Billy Velick, he's the one that he got me into. He's like, hey, look at this great deal.
Yeah. I probably still owe Columbia House money. I don't know. Are they still?
I know old Blockbuster money.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I've always been a fan of rap, man. I just always have. And I'm thankful there are some gems out there that are Christian now. And so that makes it easier. I gotta kind of filter what I listen to because try to keep it clean. But I do have a lot of respect for the talent of rapping. And so some of you out there may think, well, there's no talent to that. You're wrong. It's an art form. It's a talent. And it's anyway, and these are
what else, Travis?
Are the best ever at it.
Yeah. You know what else, Travis?
What's that?
Pluto equals aliens.
What?
Pluto equals aliens.
Pluto does equal aliens.
It does.
Folks, let us know. Do you want that shirt?
What's a shirt?
Pluto equals aliens. Do you want that?
And we can put Big C, Bigger T podcast on the back.
That's right. Hey, listen. We need that. You need that in your life. Let us know. Pluto equals aliens.
You know what next week is, don't you, buddy?
Oh, it's the big boy.
It's a big one. Smash cake coming my way. Gonna get me the Elmo smash cake.
That's right. Number 52. What does 52 add up to? 52 weeks? That makes 1 year, Clint.
1 year.
The 1 year anniversary. What's that? The paper anniversary or something? Anyway.
I don't know.
1 year since we started this little ragtag event we call the podcast. And
Happy birthday to us.
That's right, baby. I'm excited about it. And so tune in next week. But hey, for this one, like and share Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Go follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And also, hopefully you enjoyed. If you haven't watched it yet or listened to it, last week we did a extra interview with Dion Holloman, young man that is trying to make it in professional football. This week we're going to have one dropping later in the week. A guy named Danny Drain. Did I say that right? Drain.
Yeah. Drain? You did it with a Southern twang, but yeah.
When Clint kept introducing him to me, I thought he said dream, but it's not dream, it's drain. Anyway, we did the interview earlier. It's an awesome interview. If you are a UFC, MMA, mixed martial arts fan, participant, or you just like it, you need to listen to that podcast, okay? I am not a big, I don't watch UFC fights. I don't know, I know who this guy helped train and has been a part of, what's his name?
Bryce Mitchell.
Thug Nasty, who's from Arkansas, represents Arkansas so well. He has a fight this week. But he's been a part of his life and a part of his training, but he's been a part of a whole lot of other stuff, and he's been around a long time, trained lots of people. He's helped train our boy Clint and his jiu-jitsu and helped him to get where he's at as a black belt. And so we want you to watch that one because I think you'll enjoy it, even if you're not. Look, I enjoyed the conversation big time, and I'm not all sold in UFC. I don't have a lot of UFC, mixed martial arts knowledge, but I got a lot out of it. I think it was an interesting listen. So hopefully you'll pay attention to that, enjoy it, share it, and all that. Okay, Clint, anything you want to say on that? Did I make?
No, man, it was a great interview. You know, and the man's meant a lot to my life, as you know, as has Travis. You know, they both made difference and made me a better man and a better person. So,
and we love doing these interviews, y'all, because one thing, I love people, and I love hearing their stories, and I love seeing where they come from, what they've been through, and what makes them tick. And this interview is the same way. It's good stuff. And so we're going to keep trying to have some of these every now and then. We don't know when the next one will be or who it'll be, but these were Dion and Danny were two that both of us really wanted to get on here. And so we were excited to do that and get them out there. And so we're going to try to keep doing that more often. And hopefully you like those. But you know what? I don't care if you like them. I enjoy doing it, Clint. Yeah. I enjoy it.
And it was great because, I was like, hey, I'll quarterback at you, because normally when we do interviews and stuff like that, you're the serious, straight-laced guy, and I'm like, the boxers are brief guy.
Yeah.
And so we thought it was going to be different, but you had a lot of good questions because you were able to ask questions from a guy that doesn't know a lot about him.
Well, and that tells you that, someone that doesn't know as much about it can get a lot out of it, because I asked those questions because he was saying things that interest me that I thought was excellent points. So anyway,
it's very good. Both Dion Holloman, great interview, great story. Danny Green, great interview, great story.
A great young man that is, if you hadn't seen the Dion Holloman one, watch it. He's a great young man that's come out of a lot of stuff, and just his attitude about all the stuff he's came through will inspire you. This interview with Danny, just the man that he is and his dedication to his sport and his understanding and how he sees it impacting people's lives is going to inspire you also. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to inspire you. We're here to inspire you to root on the Hogs, to
try to entertain you a little bit,
to think about things, maybe think about them a little differently, and to talk about with your friends who the best rap artists are. Is there someone we left out that you think, boy, you're an idiot? Well, maybe so. That's all right. Clint, awesome dude. Great week, great show, great time. You the man. Have a great week. And big thanks to Hometown Roofing. We hadn't talked about them in a while. Bobby B.
Oh, Hometown Roofing. We ain't bought me dinner in a while.
Shot Michelle.
Definitely Shot Michelle.
Shot Michelle, thankful always for his music. And hey.
And I love the lead in. I love it.
Love it. Good stuff. Listen, y'all, be great out there. Have a great week.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change.